Then, hello again to everybody, and thank you for joining us today. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of the cognitive neuroscience program right now. It's a little bit of like just like a rough guide, so to say, that you get a better understanding of what you're actually going to do if you decide to kind of join us here in Höfde. So just a few words about myself. Sorry, oops, that's quick. A few words about myself. I already introduced myself, but my name is Andreas Kalkert. I am a senior lecturer in cognitive neuroscience, and I'm also the head of subject within cognitive neuroscience. I have a background actually in neuroscience and cognitive science, so it's a right mix here to be here. And I'm going to give you now a little bit of a short intro about our department. Um, sorry, that's going a bit quick here. Something is, sorry, something is not working here. So, um, once again, so we are the Department of Cognitive Neuroscience and Philosophy. And that is actually a very unique combination, which you won't find that often. And that already hints at something very critical in our work, I believe, that we are both. We are cognitive neuroscientists, but we're also philosophers, because our department is doing a lot of research on questions which are demanding more or less both of that. And I think in this way, our department is a very unique, not only in Sweden, but also within Europe, that we combine both cognitive neuroscience and philosophers. So our team, like our staff, consists of lecturers from Sweden, Finland, Estonia, and Germany. That's by myself. And we have in total three programs. So there are two undergraduate programs and the postgraduate program, the Cognitive Neuroscience Master. That's the reason why you're here today. So we have in total these three programs. All of them are focused on cognitive neuroscience, which in that constellation as well is very unique because there are not many cognitive neuroscience programs like this, particularly already at the undergraduate level. And as you see, we're doing this already for quite some time, and we have a lot of experience in the teaching of cognitive neuroscience as a special subject within, neuroscience and psychology. So a few words then about the program, because one of the things you're probably wondering is uh, if I if I join this program, what exactly I'm going to do. And I'm going to give you a bit of an explanation now to try to tell you a little bit what are the courses about, what do you do there, and what are the possibilities for you when joining the program. So the one thing we have to first mention though is like that the courses, of course, the program's relatively short. We have a 1 year program, which with 60 credits, where you have these four courses here in the autumn term, followed by a thesis project of 30 credits as well. And you see that is, so to say, very tight, very dense study time where you're going to have a very kind of intensive and thorough introduction into cognitive neuroscience. These are the four courses you're going to study in the autumn term. As you see, each of them has 7.5 credits. In a nutshell, I often try to explain it like that you have two courses that are centered on research methods, where you learn about the typical, methods used within cognitive neuroscience research. And then you have two other courses that are more about the subject itself, so like more content related, where you talk, for example, about consciousness or about other cognitive functions. So you have like 50-50 equally distributed, like something about methods and something about cognitive functions. And let me try to give you now a bit of a quick overview of the individual courses. So the first course, this is actually one of the first courses you're going to start with, is the Consciousness and its Neural Basis course, which is done by Professor Revonzo, who is a leading researcher in consciousness research. And you will get there a very thorough, in-depth discussion of consciousness, how to investigate it, where are the challenges, not only from a cognitive neuroscience point of view, but also from a philosophical view. The course consists of lectures and seminars and a number of written assignments and are directly done by Professor Revonzo. So that's definitely one of the best ways to kind of get an in-depth kind of, introduction into consciousness as a research area. Then at the same time, you will have the first research methods course, which is called Research Methods and Data Processing in Cognitive Neuroscience. The idea of this course is to give you an introduction into the different methods used in cognitive neuroscience. That is in particular, for example, MRI, fMRI, EEG, ERP, but also other methods like TMS or PET imaging. So here you get a bit of a more theoretical kind of introduction into these different methods. What are, so to say, how they're used, what can they do, what are the benefits, what are the challenges and limitations of these technologies. The whole course consists of lectures, a workshop that is on a very interesting subject area, because here you get to know, for example, how to run a meta-analysis with fMRI data. So you get like your own little kind of tool to be able to run such analyses by yourself. And in the end, you also have a poster presentation where you talk about the research done at our department. Then this is so to say the first two courses which are running in parallel. In the next period, you run the next two courses. And here there's the research practice course. It's the second research methods course, as I said before, so it's the second one. But as already the name suggests, it's not just about research methods, but it's about how is research done in practice. And here the idea is that you have a more practical approach into these research methods, in particular into EEG, where you're going to learn how to, you know, set up an EEG, how to get data, good data, and also how to analyze it by using some kind of like MATLAB scripts, for example. The second avenue is about body illusion experiments, which particular is done, which is done by me here, and you're learning how to run your own body illusion experiments in real life, but also in virtual reality, which is the second big avenue within our research lab. And this course consists of a number of lectures, seminar, workshops, and online assignments so that you kind of get both a theoretical kind of introduction into these things. But of course, here, as I said, it's a research practice course. It's really something hands-on. You go into the lab and try to learn how to do these things by yourself. Then the fourth course is the seminars course in cognitive neuroscience. Here you get like an in-depth and critical discussion of a number of selected topics in cognitive neuroscience. We are typically rotating the subjects and the areas a bit, but the idea here is more like of a very interesting discussion round with lecturers, with professors, where you have a chance to talk about something really in-depth. This course consists of a number of lectures, a more journal club seminar. So as I said, it's more about discussion, and you have a number of written assignments here. We also often use this course as an opportunity to invite other lecturers. So for example, we had several lecturers, and we actually discussed their own research in our seminar there, and they had a chance, our students had a chance to directly talk and interact with the researchers who actually created some of the studies we were talking about. And that was often very appreciated, and it's a very fun activity to talk about research in this more direct way. When you have done all of that, so when you have completed these four courses in the winter, you would be then jumping into the spring term and into the master degree project. The master degree project is 30 credits, and typically you do an experiment where you're going to utilize our own lab facilities, and it allows you, for example, to do EEG experiments or virtual reality experiments. It could be also that you may kind of tend to a more theoretical thesis, and here you could also, for example, write a systematic review that we do also often in our department. The laboratory, and that is probably one of the also interesting things to understand and to know what is going on in our lab, because all of these things you're going to see now are things that are available in our lab and that can be used for our master thesis project, meaning for your master thesis project. We have a multi-channel EEG system, and that also allows to kind of measure other physiological parameters. For example, so you can do your experiment running EEG, but also you can measure then other aspects of the participants' kind of, physiological functioning, for example, respiration. We can measure heart rate variability and all these kind of other physiological estimates, and can see how your participant is performing. Then the second part I also have already mentioned before is the virtual reality side. Here you see like an interesting animation which is done from one of our experiments, where you can see we are using virtual reality technology and motion tracking to allow new interesting experiments you can perform in our lab. We have multiple virtual reality headsets. We have a number of them, but we have also have in particular other motion tracking and eye tracking facilities of facial tracker that allows to kind of get some basic and fundamental kind of motion tracking done as well. We can do other interesting experiments that creates touch sensations, for example, that are connected to these virtual reality experiences. And that allows like a very interesting kind of and creative ways of doing an experiment using virtual reality. So this, all these things, like all these things I just mentioned, are available to you. We typically like to emphasize that we want you to go into the lab, use those facilities, use our equipment, use the technology we are offering on our lab, so you're able to kind of really do an interesting experiment, something that really, makes you curious, really makes you to do it. And I think this is like one of the interesting opportunities also to come up with an interesting research question by yourself. So then, last but not least, if you're deciding maybe not to do the thesis within our lab facilities, we have a number of contexts where you would be able maybe to do your thesis. Then outside our own department, we have several connections that would allow you to, for example, to go to University of Turku, maybe also within the University of Höfte, or also within other universities in Sweden. Some of our particularly in recent years, we have quite a few students that who are writing their master thesis now at other research institutions within Sweden, but also internationally. Uh, to support these things, I can also mention that we are part of the network of European neuroscience schools as the only school in Sweden, and that would also kind of support such research activities when you want to go for research visit abroad, for example. Um, yes, that's it in a nutshell. If you want to have more information, there's a Q&A on our program homepage where you probably get a lot of answers already to some of the things you're wondering about. Otherwise, if you don't, please contact Professor Katja Valli or me that could directly answer your questions. When it comes to some of the other questions about eligibility or the whole application process, probably some of our also staff who is attending right now can be of help and support you there. Katja and me are typically not the person who may be able to solve those problems for you, but feel free to kind of get in touch and we're trying to help you and support your application. And that's it from my side.